Okay, I am literally in the middle of working. It is morning, but I had to grab my camera because we just got approved for the apartment in San Diego. Okay, I've had a couple seconds to gather my thoughts. I even wrote down notes because that is how all over the place my brain has been in the past 2 weeks. And if you have anxiety problems, you can probably empathize, but I just feel like there's a bazillion things to do to get ready for a move like this. But let me back up. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Eshi, and I promise not every video is going to be as scattered as this one is, but we are planning to move from Detroit, Michigan, all the way across the country to San Diego, California in 3 weeks. But rewinding a little bit to 3 to 4 months ago, we actually visited San Diego and we toured like 3 to 4 apartments a day because I am an over planner. And if you are interested in actually touring that with us, I go into a lot more details about all the apartments that we looked at. I will leave a link to part 1 and part 2 of those tours right here. Well, the overall consensus after all of those tours between me and the boyfriend was that there was one standout apartment, and I had you guys guess which one it was in my 2 videos that I linked, but it was actually, drum roll, the Diega. The Diega is a newer apartment in downtown San Diego, and we kind of just fell in love with it. The problem was that apartment, along with a bunch of other apartment buildings we saw in San Diego, they don't let you apply until like 30 days before your actual move-in date. Now at that point when we toured, it was like 4 months before we were going to be moving because our lease is up here in Detroit at the end of March, so we didn't want to overlap paying for 2 apartments by too much. So we knew that we would have to move in March to San Diego. So it was apparently way too early for us to sign anything. And of course, because I am an over planner, I was like, why not? I just want to be prepared. Like if I had a year to prepare in advance, I would have done that. So what I did instead, and this is actually a pretty good tip if you are trying to move, if you have a contact at that apartment building like we did, we actually toured with this lady named Nicole. Shout out to Nicole. She really did the most for us. But I stayed in contact with her by just like emailing her like once a month to begin with, but then as soon as it got closer and closer to the dates that we really wanted to secure the lease, I would email her like once a week and be like, hey, any updates, you know, like how are the apartments looking? And by that point she kind of knew what layout we wanted, that we wanted parking in the building, kind of our price range that we were looking at. Again, shout out to this lady because she was literally answering so many of my emails, so many of my questions, but she handled me and my anxiety really well. And actually I would say about 2 months before we really kind of wanted to move in, she emailed us one weekend randomly and she was like, hey, guess what? So there was actually a wait list for parking spots in that building. She was like, hey, we just opened up a bunch of new parking spots. So if you guys can sign a lease this weekend, we will secure that lease for you and get you that parking spot. And because she already knew what kind of layout we were looking for, she told us there is this specific apartment. It is a 2-bedroom. It has south and east facing windows, which was huge for us. Typically south facing windows are the best for lighting throughout the day, so we were really looking for that. And we like waking up to the sun, so that was like our perfect apartment. And it was relatively high up on the floors. So again, at this point, this was January. We hadn't even reached out to any other apartment building that we had seen in San Diego because the Diega was just like the one that we wanted. Let me go into a bit of detail about why we specifically decided that the Diega was our dream apartment building. First and foremost, it was honestly the location. We actually have a buddy of ours that moved in early 2021, back when this building was like brand new, and he told us about this place, and he told us about how it's really close to a bunch of bars, a bunch of clubs, really like the night scene in downtown San Diego. And it was super easy for him to always just walk back home after a night out. And that was really appealing for us. We moved to downtown Detroit the summer of 2019, and we picked this current apartment because of its location as well. And we really utilized the heck out of it that summer. We would go out, we'd be able to walk home so easily. I mean, it was really about the location for this apartment for us. So it sounded very similar to the Diega in that sense, and we were all for that perfect location. Unfortunately, with our Detroit apartment, COVID hit the winter right after that, so unfortunately we didn't get to use this apartment as much as we would like. So I'm hoping our times in San Diego get better as the pandemic gets better. And another reason why the Diega was our dream apartment was because of the amenities. I will insert some footage here, but definitely go check out my other in-depth apartment tour. But I mean, you can't beat the amenities at Diega, honestly. Their pool is freaking stunning. They have a hot tub. They have this huge gym, which I will force myself to go to. Keep me accountable, because I mean, you can't get a better gym than that gym. So I really need to start going. And again, the parking and building, honestly, it was pretty cheap. I think it's $50 a month for the one spot at Diega. So that's an amazing price for parking in San Diego. The apartment itself, I think Chumley, my boyfriend, was really sold after he saw the interiors and saw like the nice finishes, the flooring, all of that like modern touch. He really likes modern design way more than I do. I'm more like traditional industrial. I like some of the other styles more, but all these apartments are like flawless. And then we both were sold on the views. Oh my gosh, they have spectacular views at every part of the building. So there you have it. That is why we finally decided on the Diega. And so now my over anxious mind has already started packing. I started packing like 2 weeks ago, with a month plus to spare. So let me show you a couple clips of what I've been doing. I've been taking down shelves, I've been putting things in boxes. Oh, and moving pro tip, I also found a brilliant way to take out drywall anchors from the wall. So I'll show you that in just a sec. So last night at like maybe 11 p.m., midnight, I got this burst of energy. So I just started taking everything down from the walls. So if you remember, these are where my shoe racks were, and now they're all right there. All my shoes are packed, which I'll show you in a second. And that's what I also did last night. Those are some of the boxes of shoes, and then also some empty boxes. But today I'm going to work on finishing up this wall, taking out all of the drywall anchors, and then also packing up my books into these empty boxes. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So we hung up a bunch of things in our apartment in Detroit. I mean, we really made it our own home, but with that, we have a lot of drywall in the wall that separates our bedroom from our living room. So just to be safe, we had to put drywall anchors into the wall first and then screw the nails in. But when you unscrew the nail from that like drywall anchor, it is next to impossible to try and use pliers to take out that drywall anchor. I actually did a quick search on YouTube and I found that the best way to do this is to screw your nail back into the drywall anchor, maybe about halfway, grab a hammer, and on the opposite side of the hammer where there's like those two like prong looking things, use that to actually wedge out the nail and the drywall anchor all in one go. So if you enjoyed this, again, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that like button. And I will see you guys very, very soon because my anxiety will not let me rest. I'm always like thinking about the next thing that I have to do, and I'm always constantly packing. So you'll see plenty of me coming up every week. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope you follow us in our journey to San Diego. I will see you guys soon.